He was lost for 16 days, scared, starving, and freezing under an unforgiving sky. Stranded in a brutal landscape, far from everything familiar, this dog fought to survive. His name is Osama, and this is his story. Osama went missing on the Carrizo Plain on November 1st, a place where few animals can adapt to the harsh environment given the lack of food and water. I learned of his plight 2 weeks after he went missing, and immediately went to find him. The Carrizo is mostly void of cell service, making communication and dog recovery efforts complex. My first objective was to search where Osama went missing, a remote road named Sprague Hill. He ran off after accidentally contacting an electric fence wire. Osama is a large white cane corso, which would make him easy to see among the grasslands on the Carrizo. I didn't see any track or sign of him, but I did notice the lone buildings in the distance. My next stop is further south, where the only sighting of Osama had occurred in the early evening the day before, at the base of Soda Lake Lookout. The water in Soda Lake is highly alkaline and not for safe consumption. Even dogs know they cannot drink the water, which must be very frustrating for a hungry and thirsty dog. I drove slowly into the Lookout parking lot, in the event Osama was there. I looked around the immediate area, finding many large dog prints, obviously from Osama. Then I walked up to the overlook, searching the fields with a spotting scope for any trace of Osama. Once again, the lone buildings in the distance caught my attention. Just as Maslow's hierarchy of physiological and safety needs apply to humans, it also applies to dogs. This means Osama would seek out food, water, and shelter as top priorities, and the only place around here would be at those buildings. So I left the lookout and made the short trip to the driveway for the buildings. The gate was locked, but I could see a home which is obviously occupied, so I turned on my headlights and sat for a few minutes. Soon, a vehicle came down the driveway and a man greeted me. I explained that I was searching for a lost dog, and he replied that a dog had entered his property a short time ago. Just as soon as we made it up to the house, I saw Osama, curious but very afraid and clearly starved. I brought lots of food and tried using the calming technique to lure Osama close enough to put a slip lead on him. After nearly 2 hours, he was still too scared. My goal then became to keep Osama around long enough for his owner to make the long drive to the Carrizo. I placed a couple of cameras and put food and water out for Osama to habituate him to the property. His owner arrived after dark and searched valiantly for a couple of hours, but it seemed Osama was gone. But Osama returned later that night for the food as captured on a trail camera. The resident of the home was kind enough to keep an eye out for Osama and contact us if he is seen during the next day, November 15th. As it happens, Osama was captured on the trail camera on the 15th, but moving quietly and fast, eating what little food may have remained, as well as on the morning of the 16th, checking his food dish for a refill. On the 16th, I drove back to look for Osama again, and he appeared shortly after my arrival. This time, I brought a warm rotisserie chicken, hoping the high-value food would bring him closer to me during another very long calming technique event. Still, he was not comfortable enough to allow the slip lead to be put on, and I didn't want to scare him any more than he was. I texted Osama's owner to take the day off and to drive out here as soon as possible. Ideally, Osama would pick up on the owner's scent and all would be good. During the wait for Osama's owner, I tried to keep an eye on Osama. Expecting his owner to arrive soon, I parked at the end of the driveway to discuss the plan before going back up to the house. Soon I could see his vehicle barreling down the road. I explained that Osama is in the fight or flight mode, and he would probably be fearful of his owner too, unless Osama is able to pick up on his scent. The ideal situation is to have the wind at the owner's back, allowing Osama to pick up on his scent. The owner then walked quietly and slowly to look around the compound for Osama. As he was looking, I scanned the skyline above the nearby ridge. There was Osama, all proud of himself for taking the high ground. The owner slowly ascended the ridge, and at one point Osama popped up in front of him, but he got scared and ran further up. The owner faithfully tried to have Osama come to him for an hour, but Osama just barked as the wind was blowing the wrong direction and it was getting dark. When the owner came down, we devised two plans. The owner would stay to see if Osama would follow a scent trail down the ridge and back near the house, and I would head out to begin assembly of a missy trap to be deployed early the next morning. I was torn about leaving, but due to extenuating circumstances, we only had one good day left to recover Osama from the property. Before arriving home, I kind of had a sense I should call Osama's owner. As he answered the phone, he said Osama had just been secured. Osama had come off the ridge and into a place where he could pick up the owner's scent and ultimately went to him without hesitation. It is beyond words to express the feeling of relief, knowing that Osama is safe, will be warm and well fed, and sleeping securely in his own bed once again.